What is failure? What is failure? Failure is to attempt something and you are unable to execute it. When you attempt something, your goal is to do something and you are unable to execute it. That's a failure. And you wonder to yourself, how often are you attempting to perform something and you fail to do it? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about magnitudes of failure. If you're trying to do a combo and drop it, but you try to do it, you failed that. So there is tons of failures within a bigger failure. So how often do you fail? If you're playing fighting games, you're failing literally constantly. Literally, actually constantly. Just these little interactions here that we're seeing. That stand medium kick was a little fail. He tried to make that make contact, but it didn't work. Tons of little failures. So one of the greatest things about fighting games is just like what I would think with jiu-jitsu or something, where if you're paying attention to the game, there's no way you can have an ego. How do you have an ego in a game where you're constantly failing all the time? What's going on, Shakwate? You came just in time for this topics if you want to stick around. So what if your main objective within these failures or outside of these failures is just to win the match, right? You're in tournament, your only overarching goal is to win the match, right? So if someone asks you, hey, what's your goal in this particular, well, the overarching goal is I want to win this match. So if you win, you succeed in that. But if you were to look further, like say for example, I watched one of my replays from one of my sets from last week, you actually see that I failed a ton of times, but you just take in those failures as information rather than I'm a huge failure because I didn't perform my goal. So that being said, if you lose a tournament set, you failed, but your failure shouldn't like dictate the way you feel about things. Failure, the funny thing about failure is it's inevitable, but you want to do everything in your power to prevent it. Isn't that interesting? So you're trying to prevent something from happening that actually needs to happen in order for you to grow. Every day I feel some sense of failure. I never go to bed thinking I did everything perfectly today. I spent too much time on my phone. I call someone an idiot. I'm not paying attention to my dog enough. Just whatever. It's rare that someone enjoys failing, and we want to do what we can to prevent failure from happening, but you need it. Isn't that weird? So, should we really do everything we can to prevent failure from happening? The answer is yes, because you're going to fail anyway. Because none of us are perfect. So you're not going to win every match. You're not going to get every combo. You're not going to read every situation. A successful stream to me is staying on track throughout a whole stream, despite wins, losses. I never go too far off. I never say anything mean about anybody, which I haven't yet. Characters are fine. I don't want to say anything mean about anyone in particular. I don't want to do anything regrettable. Now the problem with this is that when we make excuses or point things in different directions, we're not truly experiencing the failure. If I play against Guitar Junkie here and I come up with little excuses to cover up these seemingly uncontrollable factors, well then I'm not really taking the failure in, am I? Because then I'm just saying, well, I didn't fail because I underperformed. I failed because of all these uncontrollable factors. So in order to truly experience the failure that is beneficial, you take all responsibility for what is going on, whether it is or not. Because what difference does it make if it's your responsibility or not? It should be marked as your responsibility, because you can only change the things that you do. So blaming something else doesn't change the result, you know? If I get into a tournament with someone and something stupid happens, where lucky this, lucky that, what difference does it make? Blaming them only takes away the failure off of me, and that's just because we are doing what we can to prevent failure in our heads the wrong way. That's the wrong way of accepting failure, is to just be like, well, whatever. Lag, whatever. Even the lag should be a responsibility. You know it's a part of the game. When you go into an online tournament, what are the chances of one game being a little laggy? Almost 100%. So when you go into a tournament and you're thinking to yourself like, that's bullshit, it was laggy, guys, I might complain about that later. But as we're talking in this conversation now, that is a part of this online world. Just as when you're in real life, there's real life factors too. You ever try to play a game when someone right behind you saying, dude, when I went to London, all these people, these London boys got little mouths, boy. Talking little snarky little comments behind me. That's an external factor that I can't control unless I get up and fucking smack someone. But I'm not going to do that, am I? So I'm sitting here playing a player, and the guy behind me, I drop a combo, and he says, "Oh, imagine losing after doing something like that." And what did I want to do? But you can't do that. It's an external factor that I can't do anything about. So what can I do? Blame that guy? Oh, I lost because this guy. Oh, I'm gonna blame metal queer butthole over here, or whoever that was. I don't know who that was. Loudmouth bitch. But it makes no difference. I still lost. So I'm trying to alleviate the failure by blaming someone else because of something that I couldn't control. So, shit happens. Assume responsibility for everything, because you can't control it. So what are you going to blame the opponent? It could be the opponent, but what are you going to do? You should even take responsibility for the lag, because it doesn't help you if you don't. As I mentioned before, we're walking this tightrope of trying to prevent failure from happening, but also knowing that it needs to happen, which means you shouldn't be scared of it. And I always hear this thing like, it reminds me of this quote that is, courage is not absence of fear, it's mastery of fear. I feel the same way about failure. You shouldn't pretend failure doesn't happen or try to find some way to circumnavigate failure. You should be able to face failure head on and smack him in his fucking mouth. You see what I'm saying? So if my stream is ultimately productive at the end of this, at the end of the stream, I can feel productive. I know when I've had a good stream and a bad stream, because hey, there are streams, right, when I get nice and pissed off and yell at Sagat and get in an argument with Sanford and the numbers are really good, but at the end of it, it doesn't matter. It makes me feel like shit, knowing how derailed I got and knowing how it had nothing to do with Street Fighter. It was all just emotional baggage, railing on each other about completely irrelevant things. Getting in an argument with like 8 people about whether or not Urian wins the fucking matchup. Who cares? But it's a fun conversation, but that's like derailment, and the numbers were going up in views, but at the end of the day, I don't care about views as much as I care about having a productive stream that people benefit from. If I have a stream of 30 people, but all those 30 people are like, that's a really awesome stream I got a lot from that, or 80 people who thought it was funny that I made fun of Sanford, or Sanford made fun of me. I don't really take the latter as something to be proud of. It's rare that someone enjoys failing, because you don't want to enjoy failing. You don't want to purposely induce failure. You know what I mean? Maybe some of us do. Maybe some of us purposely induce failure because we like to fail. We like the feeling because here's one interesting thing about being knocked down, right? You're a husk of your former self. You hate the way you feel about stuff. You don't like the way you react to things. You know what that means, right? You can grow from this corpse of your former self and become something new. I do this. I almost every day do I go through some point. Not every day. A lot of days. I break myself down to this, carcass of self-doubt, only to find myself finding a way to sprout from the carrion. Well, I use a lot of funny words there. The worse the failure is, the harder I reflect on what happened, and I have to go through a barrage of negative emotion just to get through it. A really hardcore failure. I'm playing in a ranked match, I lose, I talk a little shit, I blame whatever, move on. What if I took that match like my livelihood depended on it? Your livelihood depends on winning this match. Okay? You lose that match? Have you ever... I know every single one of you has gone through this, where it's like, we're losing a particular match or going through a particular session. It's fucking, like, altering, right? It makes you stare at the wall. You're so lost at what happened. You can't even process how big of a failure you are. You know? There's sessions that are literally sort of self-altering, where you step back from the game and you think, like, I don't have what it takes. I'm below average. I have to work way harder than everyone else just to keep up with these guys. When these things happen, it really hurts to go through, but those are the moments where I really reflect hard and I come back feeling I never lose. I never am. I get defeated temporarily, but then I eventually crawl out of that dark hole or whatever. So I always get knocked down, but like in true Chumbawamba fashion, I'm a true tub thumper. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. That's just a metaphor, you know, like for always failing, letting yourself down, but finding some way to get through it every time. And there are some people who just can't get past that hurdle. You know? Some people's every waking moment is like that. You know? Where you wake up feeling like a failure, you go to bed feeling like a failure. You wake up feeling like a dumb piece of shit, you go to bed feeling like a dumb piece of shit. Of course, are these things true? No. Like, anytime you go through these big wells, these endless pits of self-doubt, at the end of the day, don't you realize that it's not real? Like when you step away from it and you're feeling, and time has passed, and then you see that everything you said was just a distortion of reality. Oh yeah, right there, cognitive distortion. You framed your current psychology in a way to make it seem like you see what you want to see. You know? I want to be a loser. This sounds weird. It sounds counterproductive, but humans have a tendency to be inadvertently masochistic. You know? Sometimes you want to feel pain. Should I quote another great song when I say, I rather feel pain than nothing at all? You know? Sometimes people rather feel pain than nothing at all, because pain is a feeling, and humans are so feeling based that feeling nothing, boredom, I rather be pissed, which is why social media is such a strong component in our life, because people want to see horrible things. It's a sad truth. We want to see. Tell me you don't want to go on Twitter and see the next bad thing, even at the cost of someone else. Donald Trump drops baby on head. Do you want that to happen? No. Would that news excite you? Oh yeah. It's totally normal. We want a break. We want a break from our like mostly neutral mindset, you know, where it's just like nothing's going on. Good things are better, Yazzie, but to be fair, if it said something like Chris Hemsworth donates all of his money to child leukemia, oh, good for him. Donald Trump farts in public. Are you joking? No. He did not fart. Thank you very much, Yazzie. I appreciate you being here. He did not fart in public. Okay? Thank you. We're still on the topic of the magnitudes of failure. I just kind of want to browse over this one more time because it really sank with me. Because sometimes I really sit and think about these topics, you guys. This one in particular really hits home because I am no stranger to failure. Boy, do I fail. We are prone to failure because failure is productive. Failure is the soil to our future, you know? What are you going to do without it? Some people never face failure, or they find every single way to navigate their brain through failure as if that didn't actually happen, or there's a reason outside of their control that they fail. What is that? Some people grow up never failing. We're in a society these days where we don't want people to fail. Participation trophies, there's no score. Fighting games, that's the beauty of fighting games, is you learn to lose. There's a small percentage of people who know how to tweak their brain into thinking that they didn't actually fail. How many ranked matches do you go through where you really don't think it's your fault? Oh, Sagat's trash. Oh, Sagat's not hurt box. Oh, this, that. Excuse. Because we're trying to find the easy way to prevent the failure from happening. So we're just, instead of just saying, I didn't perform well enough to win. Can't you just say that? Can't I just say that? I didn't perform well enough. I didn't come in prepared enough. You know? Just accept the failure. But don't accept it because you want it to happen again. Accept it, the fact that it happened. Do you want it to happen again? Next time I play Metro M, do I want to lose again? Am I going to lose again if I don't take responsibility for the fact that I should have performed better? Or am I going to lose again because I'm like, little weasel? He won because he's such a weasel. You know? Trust me, guys. Whenever these dumb things happen in my head, I understand my shortcomings. I understand. Thank you very much, Yazzie. You're a gift. Thank you. And a failure. We're talking about the magnitudes of failure, Sanford. We're talking about how important it is to fail and to accept responsibility for all the things that you do and that you're a part of. Because, say you're in a relationship and it fails. Is it your fault? Who knows? Is the person that you're with a total dumbass? I don't know. But if you assume responsibility for what happens, there's no way that it makes you a worse person in the future. However, there is a chance that if you don't accept responsibility for what's going on, that you're going to make the same mistake the next time. What if it is your fault? What if you're kind of a dickhead? And you go into the next relationship with the same mind frame, like, oh, actually, how many times do you see people and they say, oh, all my ex-girlfriends are just crazy bitches? Or all my ex-boyfriends are just crazy bitches. Yeah. What are the chances of them all being crazy bitches and maybe you need some help? You know? Anyone who calls all their past relationships crazy people. Anyway, let's re-evaluate what I'm talking about here. You know, we were talking about failure being an attempting something, being unable to execute it. We're not trying to win all the time. And it shouldn't be always that the only goal is to win every single game. Everyone, like, you know, are you failing if your goal isn't to win? If your goal isn't to win, but you don't win, you don't fail. If your goal is to try something new and you don't try something new, then you fail. It depends on where your goal is. So everyone's goal is different. Most people's goal is they want to win the match by any means necessary. And if you don't get that, you fail. And you should wonder why you failed when you lose. But some people fail and they don't even realize that wasn't their goal to begin with. And I think I have that problem a lot. How often in the match am I thinking about how do I win this? What, 30%? I am glad I failed the test of becoming a cop. I'm not, because there's not enough good ones in this world, and you would have been a good one. So as I was saying, you know, the moral of that whole story is we want to do what we can to prevent failure from happening, but it's absolutely inevitable. So when it happens, you should embrace every second of it. You should take that negative feeling and you should just absorb all of it. You know, absorb that failure, because we all fail on all different levels. You know, don't assume that people who are of a higher status than you or who are better than you at the game don't have hardcore failures. You know, don't think that when you hit Grandmaster that all your failures go out the window and you feel any better about yourself, because it's just gonna change. You know, Sanford, you and I are kings of failures. I was talking about this earlier. The way we relate so much is that you fail sometimes before things even get started, because our focus on the goal is abstract. You know, like you and I don't focus the way we should. Like you just don't focus. I don't either. No, I'm not saying you as a person as a failure. I'm saying you fail constantly, just like everybody else. No one's a failure. Like, your life is not a failure. But you fail all the time, just like everyone else. Shakote fails all the time. Yazzie fails over time, all the time. If you feel like you are 100% successful, your goals are way too low. If your goal is, I want to wake up in the morning and take a shit, okay, congratulations. You need to be failing, and if you're not failing, your goals are crap. I don't know. I'm sensing a slight derailment here, so I'm just gonna deviate from that for a moment. If you're not failing, you are not setting your goals. Okay? So far, the stream's gone good, but as we all know, it's just a matter of time before someone pisses me off. This whole thing gets derailed. I say something regrettable, and what do you know? I fail as a streamer. Yazzie, what do you consider a failure in your day-to-day life? What do all you guys consider a failure in your day-to-day life? Not getting out of bed on time? Not wiping the toilet seat after you pee? Not doing my homework? Those were failures to you, Yazzie? I agree with the homework thing, but the partner thing I don't agree with. It's a little arbitrary, but I agree. You feel like a failure if you not do your homework. I think it's a good thing to feel. I think because you knew you should have done it and you didn't do it. Your mind, isn't it crazy, Yazzie, that you could sit here on your phone and as you're thumbing up, you're thinking, I gotta get off. I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, no, I shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing your homework. That's just like you're just scrolling through your failures. Oh, no, yep. I should definitely be doing something else right now. Oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should be really studying this matchup right now. Instead, I really love boobs. So here we go. Bloom, 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 bloom. So, which is fine. You know, you're allowed to take a break. For me, it's not finding a better career. You feel like a failure because of that? Eating a box of candy? Kendricks, you are a walking failure. I like Yazzie's the most. Yazzie is the most relatable. It's just like you feel like you should be doing something and you don't fucking do it. Guitar Junkie could probably say if you've been pursuing establishing a new career and you don't, you can consider that a failure. Yeah, you should be ashamed of that and you should be working harder. Yeah. Just from what you told me. You know, you should be driven to overcome that. Absolutely. Yeah, playing Vega, another one. Yazzie says, but now I am good with streaming and studies, and now your marker has changed. You got partner already. What's the next step? And if you don't have a next step, you know. I think for me, it was not taking steps sooner towards a career. Do you feel like a failure? Do you feel like that was a fail? Sanford says, I don't consistently play. I don't consistently show that I care enough. I complain when I lose, but the reasons I lose is because I don't play enough. So it's my fault. Yes, I like that, Sanford. I think that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. You don't have the care to focus, right? I'm not saying that you're not focusing because you're dumb. I'm saying you're not focusing because you're not engaged. But I failed with a relationship, so I think you can't balance too much. It's tough. I'm not pursuing a career right now, but I don't consider it a fail because I never thought to do it. I live my life, guys. I thought about my life goal. And what I want for my children. I want my children to see that I did things the way I want, but I did it smart enough to be successful in whatever it is that I want to do. And success to me is pursuing what I wanted to do and achieving that whatever goal it was. So, do I have a career? Do I have a college degree? Do I have a... How long have I gone to school? I dropped out junior year of high school. You know? I'm streaming. I'm 32 years old and I'm streaming to 50 guys and girls that I like. I have money in the bank. I have a lot of money in the bank, not because I've made a lot of money, because I'm smart with my money. I've always made minimum wage or near minimum wage. I've worked at a cafe my whole life. What am I supposed to be happy about? Or what can I tell my kids? Oh, hey guys, if you work hard enough, you can make someone a latte when you're 30 years old. That's not how you have to frame it. If you look at things on a wide scope, it doesn't seem like that I'm doing all that great. But I'm healthy. I am strong. I look forward to what I do every day. I cook every day. I'm responsible. My dog's not dead yet. Okay. Where's the failure in that? Plus, my little day-to-day goals. I'm not gonna get too into like what these addictions I have are. I'm doing better with all those. I don't have very many addictions. I do have a couple of vices, and I feel like a failure when I indulge. So I don't know. I work hard for the things that I have. I always feel like I can work harder. So it's not a failure to me if I compare myself to Jeff Bezos. Oh, okay, he's done a little bit more than me in my lifetime. Fuck you, Jeff. I'm not worried about you. All you guys, I can't compare myself to you guys. Shakote has more views than me. He's higher ranked than me. He's done better in tournaments than me. He is taller than me. He probably has a bigger shoe than me. He probably gets all the hoes. So if I compare myself to him, it's like, man, I'm coming up short. I'm coming up short. But I can't compare myself to Shakote. Yazzie? Oh, Yazzie. How I wish I had that hair. I can't... What is that? Some of you guys wish you had my beard. I don't get it. But some of you guys wish you had this red thing. Maybe not red. Maybe you just want the girth. You know? Comparing yourself to others is a waste of time. Maybe Dimich has more money than me. Maybe Rich has more money than me. It's in his name. You know? I love all you guys. I love and hate everyone just so equally. It's on the same track. You know? I don't want anyone to be unsuccessful. There are people who I look to in streaming where I'm like, what do I need to do to take it to that level? But I never think to myself, that should be me. That should be me. That should be me. Whatever Yazzie has, that should be me. No. And again, speaking of which, Yazzie, thank you very much. I don't tune into your stream nearly enough. We just have weird hours, Yazzie, for sure. When I get up, I have to get right into thinking about how I'm going to put the stream together, and I see you're streaming, but I just can't. I just don't have the time to... You're just at a weird time where I can never tune in. Not being able to escape my lifestyle makes me feel like a failure. That's a big one, Junkie. That's a big one. Yeah. You don't have to dive. You don't have to get into that further if you don't want to, but it's big, I think. What did he say up here? For instance, I'm gonna be super real about my laziness. I've been with Yipes the last few days at his crib, and he gave me a real talk. He said, "Sanford, you should have been streaming from your own channels years ago, but you're lazy as fuck. I only tell you this because I love you and want you to make money off this shit." Yeah, I mean, Sanford, you still have plenty of energy. You could stream right now, and you get more views than me, and I've been doing this every fucking day. You log on, you get 100 viewers. 100 viewers for me? I must have been playing some strip Street Fighter or something. So what is that? But I can't compare myself to you. You've been in the game forever. People know who you are. Thank you, Yazzie. I just picked up cigarettes again after 10 years, and I feel like a big failure for that. I hear you, bro. I don't smoke, but I've been there. For real, I remember the 7 people streamed. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, no, like I said, I don't compare myself to people like that. I try to figure out why it is. Like, why is it when, like, you know, because Zaffarino was upset that he wasn't getting partner. I'm like, bro, I stream every fucking day, and you already have more numbers than me. You stream like twice a week. I stream 5 days a week, and you have more viewers than me. What are you complaining about? And then he's like, oh, well, I've been streaming since, you know, I've been streaming for 7 years now. I'm like, but I made the judgment in my head, what the fuck, man? You know, I stream harder. I play more. You know, I do everything what I think is right. So why are people getting more views than me? But I don't think that out of envy, like I wish I was Zaffarino, I wish I was Yazzie or Tay. No. I just wonder, what do I need to do? What are they doing that I'm not doing? So, what's up, Patty? Good morning. I actually had a dream about one of my failures today, and that, of course, is school, but I'm 15 years late to the party. Trust me, brother, one of my biggest regrets is being a total jerk off in school. Honestly, Stacks, it's the time you stream. Yeah. I got you. I hear that. Yeah, I'm moving my stream an hour ahead. I can help with that when it comes to that. It involves boobs, though. Yeah, I get you. You know, a lot of people pursue the that cosplay path, and I totally support that. And it definitely helps with viewers, for sure. Were you really consistent with streaming when you first started? I doubt it. Right? So I started an account a year ago, but I didn't start streaming heavily until March. And I never... Guys, I don't look back. Okay? When I pursue something, I get down to fucking business. So right when I started streaming, you guys can check the tapes. I have been streaming 5 days a week, every single week, at least 30 plus hours, every single week since March. I had 70 viewers. I had 70 followers in March. Okay? With no sense of real marketing. with no sense of real marketing. I'm up to 1311 with this last follower here, which I'm not on the right page, so I can't see. BMO, okay? So I'm not gonna stop. But I just understand it's probably gonna take me a little while. Yeah, I literally, on horrible days, anytime I don't feel good, you know how much it fucking irritates me when I go on Twitter and people are like, hey guys, I'm not streaming today, my left butt cheek hurts. Get the fuck on the stream. I never have skipped a stream because I didn't feel good. I'll never say I'm not streaming. When have I ever said that? When have you guys ever saw me feeling bad? I'm like, I'm not gonna stream anymore. You know, and there's plenty of days where I don't feel good. You know, so I'm here every single day, and I respect every single person that comes in here, and I appreciate all the support. And I just, some days are harder than others. Some days are easy as fuck. Especially when Sanford gets in here and gets me riled up with some crazy ass thing that he says. You know, that just makes for at least an hour of content. We have a cool little community going though. I feel like we all go in these little different directions. I feel like me, Tay, and then people who are far along in the path, like Jimmy, Smug, Brian F. These guys are just a little bit better at their marketing. Tay, I think you and I both suffer from the same thing. Yazzie definitely has no issue pushing herself on social media. I am not too hot. I just want a gradual increase because I am scared that if I hit something too fast, I'll become complacent too fast, and just because partner is something that I look forward to, but I'm in no rush to get because after that, so what's the rush? So I try to look about it like that, like my viewership is growing up kind of slowly, I think, in comparison to some others who have been doing the same amount of time as me. I feel like if everyone was doing 30 plus hours a week of streaming, I feel like they'd be just as good. So, but what's the rush? You guys are here. BDN's here. All you fucking people who are here all the time are here. That's cool for me. And then when people come in on top of that and see that we have this little crew going, I think that's cool. I'm down with that. I think I would be bigger if I updated my stream more and stayed on the YouTube grind, for sure. Yeah, Junkie, you've been here a long time. I don't know if you've been here. I don't know if you're one of the originals, but you've been here a long time. Glowing's been here for a long time. Do you think you need to be very good at Street Fighter 5 in order to be a successful streamer on Street Fighter 5? No. But you have to have some key factors. And me and Sanford used to argue about this a long time ago. Okay? If you are a very, 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 very skilled Street Fighter player, you can afford to just have the game up on the screen. You know? IDOM doesn't even have a fucking camera, you loser. Get a camera. Imagine if he had the personality, if he had the cam, if he had a funny little like this, like he had a little graphics everywhere. We have people. I mean, Yazzie, I think she's in the silvers now. You're a higher rank than Yazzie is, but she puts in other work in all avenues of the stream because there's so many factors. You know, there's so many other factors other than your rank. Would I go to Yazzie's stream to learn something new about the game? No. But there's so many other factors. Like, just right now in this stream, I haven't even showed gameplay. Actually, speaking of which, let me put a replay up here. There we go. Okay. I just always feel that while you're always in the company with the trajectories you are also in, it's really great to stay motivated. Stacky complacency is harder to feel when you're growing, when you're watching your company grow. Yeah, the only small issue with that is that sometimes it's so gradual, it's hard to even appreciate it. You know, like right now we're at 50 viewers. That's good. I appreciate all you guys coming here. That number hasn't moved in a little while, but I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere. You know what's, Yazzie, can I call you out real quick? Okay, well, whether you say yes or no, I'm going to. So there was a stream a long time ago. I think you were just a little bit, torn between how you wanted to pursue your future in streaming. I think you were just a little bit confused about how you wanted to do your approach. So for a while there, or maybe it was only for one stream, that you just threw it all out the window and said, you know, fuck all you motherfuckers, I'm gonna be that real bitch. And you were getting some good feedback, but I truly didn't like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't want to say it at the time, but at the I was watching the stream, I was kind of like, not upset, but I was like not down with that at all. I was, wait, what did I just miss here? Okay. Yes, I know you were there, Sanford. You were eating it up like crazy. You're like, I like this sassy Yazzie. Give it to me. And I was like, I don't know about this, man. I don't like this that much. And I was like, please, God, don't take this route. Please don't do this. Please. Are you gonna get some good views for this? Yes. Is your soul totally sold to the devil? I think so. Don't do it. Well, you can do it at tournaments. It's fun, because at least you can read the crowd and stuff. When you're just talking to your, like, as streamers, I can't see what you guys are doing. I can see what you guys are saying, but I don't get to read your guys' body language. So Sanford says, sorry, I'm from the ghetto. But who knows? Maybe he said, oh, sorry, I'm from the ghetto. I have no idea how he said it. I have to assume that you guys are, like, just by the context that I'm reading on how you guys are saying stuff, you know? Sorry, Patty. Hold on. Let me go up to, what did Patty say? Stacky, I think you underestimate that growth we've been seeing in the last 2 weeks, especially. If you haven't noticed, I think we definitely have. You're in for some really great growth this month. Mark my words, and it's only going to get better for you. I appreciate everything that Patty has done. You guys are just fucking... Some of you guys are just so... You guys are all about support, and that's just something that not everyone has the capacity of, so it's just... You know, it's touching. It's touching. Yeah, I mean, it's very rare to see Patty in these chats saying some whack-ass shit. If I don't think she's ever said whack-ass shit. Oh yeah, you're like the only streamer I support 100%. Damn, I'm feeling it today, you guys. Yazzie, I actually read that sooner. I'm glad you repeated it, but I read it and wasn't able to process what was going on. But she said you should collab with other content creators, something I have just started doing. It's funny that you say that today. I was just talking about starting to do a Q&A with pro players and watching replays with them. So some of you guys might have a bad feeling about one of the people I want to bring on, but I just wanted to watch a replay with him and then, hey, tell me about why you make these decisions and blah blah blah. So yeah. I just wanted to get someone to, like, I've always wanted to watch a replay. Sorry. Woo! I've always wanted to watch a replay with Tokido and be like, you know, what was that about? What was that about? Because I feel like whenever we get Q&A, it's like, why did you start playing fighting games? You know, do you still cry when you lose a Daigo, you little crybaby? So, but I feel like they always get asked the wrong questions. Like, I want to ask a pro player questions that like a player would really ask. Because unfortunately, the people who do interviews are people who don't play the game hard. Like, I love Born Free's interviews, but he doesn't play the game like that. He's not going to ask true meta questions. He's going to say, you know, what did you do growing up? And, you know, what did you go to school for? Stuff like that, which is interesting in its own right. But I kind of want to ask things that have to do more with what we're watching. I was having an argument with my roommate about this exact fucking topic yesterday. Yes, you're being so generous today. It's a little overwhelming, honestly. I don't know if you guys ever watched Schitt's Creek, but the son, the way he would react to it, his little like eyebrow thing, that's what I wanted to do there. Yeah, Yezi's the only Cammy player I tolerate. If you get Tokido, analyze Tokido versus Powell. Okay, I'll try to remember that. I wanted to talk to him about how much it's cliche, but the Grand Finals of Capcom Cup, I just want to ask him, because you guys have seen me make an analysis about how I think he felt in that match. But I want to hear if I was correct in my thoughts on his. Remember a glass in his eyes that you guys want to always point out? Oh, glass in his eyes. So I wanted to ask him, like, am I right there? Did you lose hope in that moment there? Like, was that a moment of no return? You know? We haven't even gotten to that. This is why there's only 2 topics today, guys. I knew the magnitudes of failure topic was going to branch out to a ton of life shit. So the studying the potential NLBC matchups is going to be like a category in its own. It might even leak past the topics hour. Maybe I will play sets with some of you guys, and then we'll go back to that to kind of like break the pace a little bit. Having topics for stream is so good, Stack. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of my homework. I always try to think to myself when I'm not streaming, how do I prepare more for the next one? And sometimes you just sit there with your thumb in your ass, like, I don't know. Like, where do I even start? But you just put whatever you guys are trying to do, just think about thinking about it as a start. A lot of you guys who have, say, like, for example, someone asked me earlier about coming up with a game plan. How do I even come up with a game plan? Start with just thinking about the game. Okay? Start with just practicing thinking about it. That's the hard part. The hard part is like getting to it. You know? How like you can just like I'm sitting here watching this matchup, but nothing's really coming to my mind. But think about one piece of it, you know, and that's the start of a game plan. I won't go too far into that, but yeah, that was when a lot of people knew who you were. Are you talking about when he beat Tokido at like SCR or NCR? The approach to the thought process. Yeah, that's the hard part because I always just trust. This is what I tell myself. I tell myself, put the mental power, put the mental focus into the thing I want to get better at, and something will come of it. You know, like I'm using my focus as like some sort of fertilizer to like get the seed growing. Even if it has something, even if it's like when I'm talking about topics, thinking about topics, I just stare at the ceiling and I just think about it. And when you ask what is it, it's just it. Like, what can I talk about? And then things start to branch out, and then I start to veer towards you know girls again. I'm like, oh no, that's not important right now. That's for another time. Let's get back to business. Okay, Yesi, thanks for coming by. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate you being here. You didn't even rub them. They definitely just see the result and they're like, nah. That's a fun topic, you guys. Allow me to quickly, because there's a couple of new people in here, allow me to quickly tell you guys how that whole thing started. We talk about what being a failure, what a failure is, Shit. I almost lost it. D-Bolt EX in Yoini, Washington. Thank you, guys. Okay. You should be failing all the time. And that doesn't mean throw yourself in the dumpster. Okay. Pursue something, fail in it, get better in it. Try to not have that same failure happen again. Repeat. Everything in life. And if you're not failing, you are not pursuing anything worthwhile. If your goal is to get up, go to the bathroom, eat some breakfast, and go back to bed, not the hardest thing in the world. And if you fail that, then well, maybe you should consider something else. Okay? I don't feel good about streams where I call someone a dipshit. Yeah, if you do fail at just getting up out of and going to the bathroom and cooking breakfast, then maybe you shouldn't leave the house. I can't find my phone right now. Is that a fail? I mean, if that's your goal, and you never do find it, then yeah, that's a failure. But the productive part about that is you want to win this match, but you also blame other things for the result, which means you're not totally accepting the failure, which means you're not really failing. Which is not a good thing, because you did fail, but you're not acknowledging it. Okay? Acknowledge the failures. And what I'm telling to you guys is another way of me telling it to myself. I like to reinforce my ideas through you guys. So I say things blah 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 blah, and these are my weak points. You know, that's how I know these are hard for you guys, because they're hard for me, and I'm a lot more competitive than a lot of you guys in the chat. So I know there's no way that doesn't resonate with you guys. Because, you know, I'm on the same path. And for a lot of you guys, I'm a little bit further down that path. I'm on a losing streak since yesterday. I'm a failure. Okay? In Street Fighter 5, I'm a failure. Okay? Now you know what to do. May I ask how your name came up? Like Stacks? It's called Stacks because he's beat Black, Chicago, Maine in the West? What? But how you... I don't know what that means. I think what he's trying to say is it's called Stacks because he's best Akuma. I think what he's trying to say is best Black Akuma main. Okay, that makes way more sense. To piggyback and play an advocate on that, I think we should also try to and look at our little successes throughout the day and try to use that to motivate ourselves to keep going. Like, it's so easy to say, okay, I failed at something, so I got to do better. But it would be even better to be motivated by our successes that we also do. I feel like doing that could discipline us to be less complacent in the long run when we are in a good place. Yeah, that is true. And being able to create... Because the best part about failing is that if you pursue it hard enough, maybe you'll succeed the next time. And that's the best part about it. Because with no failure, there is no success. If you can't fail, then success is not a thing. You know? If something's guaranteed, and there's no repercussions to not pursuing it, then there's nothing. So, but absolutely right. Just as you should, if you're paying attention to all your trials and tribulations, you should be noticing your failures and your successes. Yes, it's a really good thing to point out, because I focus on the negative and positive, but I really only talk about the negative because the negative is what I feel makes us suffer the most. I don't think people are afraid of success, even though sometimes they should be. How many times have you felt better about yourself unjustifiably because you won a certain thing and think to yourself that you're better now and you should never lose ever again in that regard? You see what I'm saying? Like, I beat so-and-so in a tournament, I'm better than them. So that's all there is to it. And then you lose and you're like, I must be shitty now and they must be way better. So maybe I suck at life. They should make it a Kuma costume instead of beads with some diamond chains on his neck. Dang, I would wear that for sure. And a do-rag. Just covering the top part of his hair right here, not the rest. Yeah, that was an interesting topic for sure. We covered a lot there. Good stuff, guys. That was the most feedback I was getting too. As much as I appreciate everyone in the chat lurking, keep hanging out. I really like when you guys chime in, especially when people I don't hear from very much. Debolt X. Interesting topic. Just been lurking, first time visiting the stream. As a new player, I find myself getting so angry at myself for not performing the right skills and mapping the buttons in my head. No other game genre has made me talk down on myself so much. If you're talking about fighting games in general and not just Street Fighter, that's, to me, the worst and best thing about fighting games. You have nobody to blame but yourself, and everything comes with more practice. And if you're not doing something right, the fact that you say, as a new player, I find myself getting so angry, that's already kind of crazy when you say it out loud, right? Like you're mad at yourself for not performing when you're new to the game. You know what I'm saying? Kind of weird, but understandable. We all go through that. Street Fighter V was my first game that I've tried to learn consistently. Well, I'm just gonna say this one time today. You shouldn't be thinking about winning until a long time from now. Winning and losing should be a afterthought. Winning and losing should just be the results of what you're practicing in your matches. It shouldn't even be a fact. You shouldn't even be thinking like, if I win, I'm better than this person. If I lose, I'm worth it. That shouldn't even be a factor for like the first few months. If you want my advice, you play to get better, and it's got nothing to do with winning or losing. That's my advice. You do whatever you want with it. I'm new to Street Fighter V in your stream, but also just want to say you're my favorite streamer I've tuned into so far. Love the discussions and the passion you have. I appreciate you coming by.